Hello. How you doing? It's nice to see you again. Thanks for hanging out with me on New Year's Eve. I decided to stay in the house. I'm gonna just stay inside, and chill and ring in my New Year here because it's safe, it's sound, and it's cozy. So thanks for hanging out with me. I made some tea. I got some green tea. I was thinking about getting some champagne, but honestly, I'm old. And like a little smidge of liquor, it's like I just go right to sleep, and it's just like whatever. I'm gonna just go ahead and just sip this green tea and call it a day, and enjoy myself. Mm. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me. Happy New Year's. It's about to be 2025. There's been a lot going on lately. So how y'all holding up? We almost through this holiday rush, but I was thinking last night. I was pondering, and because I don't know, it's like I just think a lot and ponder a lot and ruminate. I feel like all good writers and all creative people just ruminate, but it's like me, I just be ruminating. So I was just ruminating and whatnot, and it's weird. Like life is weird now. So hit the like button if you think life is weird. It's getting a little bit too weird. It's funny because it's like I said, I was born in '89, so I'm 35, and it's like I'm the next generation of grown-ups after my parents. And it's weird because it's like I don't know about all of that, but it's like we are the next generation of grown-ups. Hey, and it's just like I remember back in the day, I used to I used to watch all the cartoons, and we used to watch the Jetsons. And like back in like the 2000s, we would say, "Oh, they should have been had flying cars." But I think it's about time for that type of stuff now, which is why it's being implemented by people like Elon Musk, etc., with all these robots, and everybody's freaking out about it. But I'm saying all that to say, in a world where everything is just so automated and automatic and on demand and overstimulated, and we have all of this freedom, and we have been hypnotized by the illusion of option, right? I feel like within all of that, we've lost the plot. See what I did there? But nah, for real. And it made me sad because it's like I'm a grown up now. It's like I'm the next generation of adult. This is it. So it's like, okay, how do I find my footing in a world like this to where what I have to offer, right, is outdated or not needed because it can just be AI generated. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? If you can just go on Chat GPT and just let me just write a book or da 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 da. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, how do I find the plot again? And I fear that as a society, we've lost the plot. So when I get sad and I get all moody, it makes me think back to my childhood, because it's not even necessarily that my childhood was easy, okay? It wasn't even necessarily like easy, but I was just so much more carefree, and I don't even know how to express what I'm trying to say. It's not that I had more room to try to figure out what I want to be. What it is that there wasn't so much pressure back then, right? So it just got me to thinking of like, okay, I'm losing the plot, right? In this world where everything is so robotic, how can I find the plot again? How can I find passion? How can I find inspiration? And of course, I always pull from myself, but that got me to thinking of like my favorite poet. And this might seem like silly to some writers or readers who have these huge libraries and just claim they're so adept. But I love Shel Silverstein. I love him. I love him. I remember being young in middle school in like fifth grade, and I would go to the scholastic book fairs, and my favorite thing to do was read. Like before I got caught up in the world and trying to conform and be pretty enough and girly enough and feminine enough and smart enough and concentrate, it's like I found the plot. I found my plot. I found myself in reading and in writing, because when you actually like sit down and slow down and sit there and read, you're not worried about the past, you're not worried about the future, you're forced to live in the present and stay in the present. And I feel like as a society, that is something that we have lost. It's this girl right now, this beautiful young black woman that's getting roasted on Twitter because she said that she read 110 books in a year. I wish I could have this time and space to sit down and read 110 books in a year. If I count, let me see, I probably read about 5 books this year, and that's bad. And I need to find the plot again. I need to get back to the plot. And that's really probably my only resolution. I've been doing a good job of that, of getting back to the plot, finding the plot again. So like I was saying about Shel Silverstein, he my favorite poet, right? And he was young, very, very young. He passed when he was very, very young. I think late 40s, 50s, something like that. I think he might have had a heart attack or something like that. Like if I look it up, let me see. But he passed very young. And I get so upset because when I do try to like relate to people or make friends or like tell them like, oh yeah, I like to read and write and poetry this and poetry that, I'd be like, Shel Silverstein, you remember the Giving Tree and you know what I'm saying, where the sidewalk ends? And people just look at me and they just be like, no. And I'm like, no! What do you mean? How? And that makes me so sad, because that's a part of my childhood that I can pull from that gives me inspiration and hope and happiness. I also used to read a lot of comic books because my dad, he works for the newspaper. So like every Sunday he would bring home the newspaper, and I would go in the newspaper and I would go straight to the back and look at the comics. But my favorite comic was Calvin and Hobbes. Like I love Calvin and Hobbes. So yes, and it's just like little things like that that give me inspiration. And Shel Silverstein gives me inspiration because he was so accomplished, but in this world where we have like these 700, 500, 600 page books, you know what I'm saying? And people trying to use all these big words and sound like Shakespeare and use all this fancy prose. He was straight to the point. He didn't complicate things. He didn't try to do too much. And I feel like that's a part of the problem now. It's like we try to overcomplicate stuff that ain't that complicated. And that's how we as humans, people, however you want to identify, right? That's how we lose the plot. We lose the plot trying to overcomplicate stuff, and it don't even need to be that complicated. That's like, you know what I'm saying? If somebody wanted to do something, they would do it. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it, because if they want to do it, it will be done. And that's why I appreciate Shel Silverstein as a writer and a poet, a children's poet, is because he got the point across and he hit you in such a simple, heartwarming way. And I was just thinking about this yesterday, like that's inspiring. And it makes me sad that a lot of his stuff is banned or not sold, because it's like his target audience is children. He actually has some kind of like adult books, but his adult books is really just kind of like dirty humor. So it's young adult, but it makes me so sad because it's like, where is the Shel Silverstein of today? You see what I'm saying? Like, when I'm gone, who are the kids going to pull inspiration from? And that bothers me. It makes me worried because I'm so grateful at my big age that I can still pull from his art, from his work. And I feel like we have lost the plot. We've lost the plot. So, as an ode to everything I just said, I want to share my favorite Shel Silverstein poems. It's 4 of them. It's 4 of them, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So this is the first one. The first one is called Love. Ricky was ill, but he's home with the flu. Lizzie R.O. had some homework to do. Mitchell E. probably got lost in the way. So I'm all of the love that could make it today. What? Come on. What are you? What? What? Everybody else has something to do. But I still showed up. I still represented for love. I still did what I said I was going to do. I'm all of the love that can make it today. I don't know about everybody else, but I showed up. I'm trying to tell you, y'all have to get his books. Go on Amazon right now. Because so simple, but to the point. So this is probably, is this one my favorite one? No, this is not my favorite one. I'm going to save my last 2 favorite ones for last. So I'm going to read this one next. This one is called Masks. She had blue skin. And so did he. He kept it hid. And so did she. They searched for blue their whole life through, then passed right by and never knew. Ain't that messed up? And I relate to this a lot personally because I'm neurodivergent. And I be having to mask, right? I do a lot of masking. And I was thinking about that earlier because I went to Pilates, and this is why I like doing stuff at nighttime. Because it just be too early in the day for me to mask. I be overstimulated. I be having to get up, get dressed, make some food, take a shower. So it's like later on in the day, I'm more settled and acclimated to the day. So it's like I can mask better later on in the day. But early, I can't do that. It's like, no, I might get irritated and get overstimulated, overwhelmed. She had blue skin and so did he. He kept it hid and so did she. They searched for blue their whole life through, then passed right by and never knew. So this speaks a lot to me as somebody who feels like they have to mask and put on this perfect image, because it's like we are really looking for people to relate to out here, but we'll never find it because society is telling us to look like this, act like this, sit up straight, be neurotypical. And it's like you will be none of those things, but you'll never find what you're looking for because you're not being true to yourself. So this is my next favorite one. This is popular. Y'all might know this. This is in Where the Sidewalk Ends, which is sitting right here. It's pretty. I got the 40th year edition. But listen to the mustn'ts, child. Listen to the don'ts. Listen to the shouldn'ts, the impossibles, the won'ts. Listen to the never haves. Then listen close to me. Anything can happen, child. Anything can be. And I appreciate these poems so much because it still gives me a sense of hope in a world where it seems like all hope is being robbed, in a world where it seems like all our rights are being stripped from us. It's something that we still have to go inside and quiet our minds to listen to. It's that little voice inside of us. And I'm glad that I have this reminder that anything can still be, that anything can happen. And I'm trying to tell you, I love Shel Silverstein. So this is probably my favorite poem of his. It kind of has the same theme, but this is called The Voice. There is a voice inside of you that whispers all day long. I feel that this is right for me. I know that this is wrong. No teacher, preacher, parent, friend, or wise man can decide what's right for you. Just listen to the voice that speaks inside. And this was so important for me to have growing up because in a world where everybody thought I should act like this or talk like this because of the color of my skin or where I was from or blah, 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 I was given these little reminders to listen to my inner voice. I remember, like, I used to carry, like, stacks of books. Like, you know how you walk around and from class to class with, like, binders? I used to have my binder, then I had my planner, then I had, like, 3 Harry Potter books. And I would just carry, like, this big stack of books all around school with me, like a little bookworm. And, like, even hanging out with friends, I would always carry a journal with me, right? And I remember I was this boy, like, that I was talking to. Like, I was a little bit older. I might have been like 16, 17. But I always had my journal with me, okay? Because I'm writing. I had some lyrics, poems, stuff I needed to get off my chest. Like, so I remember one time I was writing in it or whatever. Because people would be off doing what they was doing. I wasn't really into all of that. But you know how it's like you just want to be around somebody to just have some company. So it's like I was really putting myself in environments I didn't have no business being in just to have some company. But so they off doing whatever they doing. I'm just sitting there writing. And then my little boyfriend at the time tried to tell me I was too old to have a diary and a journal and blah, 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 blah. But I'm glad I never listened to his ass. Okay, listen to the mustn't, child, for sure. So, in 2025, let's find the plot again. Let's find the plot. Because I feel like the plot for just society and what a productive society is supposed to be has been lost. It's too muddled. It's too much going on. It's people trying to overcomplicate things, trying to automate things, trying to like phase. It's like the plot for a loving, functioning, healthy society is being phased out. And that's not good. That's not good. So, I have a couple more things I want to share, and then I'm going to get out of your hair. I have 2 poems that I want to share. Let me go ahead and find them really quick. Okay. So this is a poem that I want to share called Listen to Your Elders. I first wrote this December 7th, 2015. And it goes like this. A crippled man said to me, finish what you start. A blind man told me, look within your heart. A deaf man scribbled on a note in a haste. Always say what you mean, always mean what you say. A suicidal boy looked me dead in the eye, said, live life to the fullest, never know when you'll die. I'm a victim of abuse, it doesn't hurt if you try. You're always ready to go when you're ready to die. A homeless man said to me, your home is where the heart is, so make sure that you never become heartless. A starving child took a bite and gave me his last, said, I know that I can do it if they gave me a chance. A widowed fellow told me, you should cherish who you love before they're long and gone, way before it's said and done. Treat her like a queen, protect her always, never cheat. Give the girl your heart and make her lock away the key. A poor old woman said to me, money comes and goes. Find someone who loves you and you'll never be alone. I met another woman quite disfigured in the face. She told me, it's inside that counts, 'cause outer beauty fades. So that's listen to your elders. And then the next poem I want to share is called My Last Longing. What do you do with your favorite things when you outgrow the pace of nostalgia? When life catches up with you, when do you rest? Mandela effects twist with special effects. Do you collect souls? Help me find what I've lost. Do you stuff them in boxes and closets with moths? I've gotten goosebumps, now my skin is embossed. When I've shed my old self, who will help peel it off? Trinkets and gadgets meet mealworms and maggots. Had you stuffed in a bag with all my bad habits? I've gotten psychosis from all this black magic. It's time for lift off where I put the baggage. When will you heal? How do you deal with the damage? When your favorite things escape you, how will you manage? Are we living in the present or moving like the future does and taking advantage? When your tastes change, where will loyalties lie? I guess we've put them with our preferences and set them aside. I'm a relic. I was never meant to survive in a simulated world where favorite things go to die. So yeah, y'all. I hope that we as a society can really come together and try to find the plot again. I hope you have a happy new year. I'll talk to you soon. Peace.